This is a non-spoiler review for The Blue Eye Samurai on Netflix. So I'm doing this review with a few questions. Check the chapters in the description so you can see which questions that I answer, but I'm not actually talking about the series in deep detail. I'm just going over basically 3 or 4 reasons as to why you should watch it and what makes this series worth your time. First question we need to address is, who is this for? And I gotta say that it is for anybody who enjoys anime. At the same time, it's only for adults. They got blood, guts, cussing, sex. Is all the things in this thing. You may not want to watch this if you're underage. You definitely shouldn't put this on if you got kids running around your house. It's just not conducive for a good positive environment for the little ones. It's not good for them. If you're an adult who likes the anime though, this one is gonna be for you, especially if you got taste for the R-rated, because this one is explicit. Second question, what makes this interesting? I got a 2-part answer for that. First is the time period. I'm a history guy, so seeing the opening where they show you a little bit of exposition in the form of a crawl and some words flash on the screen, they hooked me when they told us that this is during the time period where Japan was isolated from the world. That caught my attention and it made me want to see how far would they go, what kind of mysticism would they put in it, like how wild would they be based on a time period where people don't know exactly what went on in Japan. The second part of what makes that interesting is the story. Not only the story itself, but the way they choose to tell it. They make you think that it's a simple revenge story when the thing starts out, but as it goes on, you get this very nice narrative. Like, it's weaved in a way that characters meet each other and paths cross in a way that seems coincidental. Dare I say organic. But by the time you get to the end, it's very obvious that these people were placed in these positions to run across each other in such a good way, and it just made the story come together by the time you get to the last few episodes of everything that unfolds. Staying on the topic of story, I really like the way that they give you a layered backstory. If you watching the first few episodes and you see Mizu and you get to learn what happens, by the time you get to the halfway point, you'll think you know everything. Then you get to a point in the second half of the season where you get a whole episode of things that you never expected to happen to this main character, but they happen, and it also helps set them on the path that they are on, and it's ridiculous. Third question I want to tackle with this little non-spoiler review is, what makes this show worth watching? What makes it deep? What gives it any value? And to that I'll say, this has a lot of serious topics. It touches on things that most people wouldn't think anything animated would touch on. And it's one of the reasons why I feel like people undervalue anime. Like, it brings some real serious topics to the forefront, and it's just simple lines of dialogue or maybe one situation where something is brought up and it hits so hard because it's applicable to modern day life, such as self-hate, classism, and elitism. The role of women in society now and historically. Of course, gender roles, hatred, good old-fashioned revenge, and the biggest one that I saved for last, and it's a huge topic that's only mentioned in one line, but it's so gripping when that line is delivered, and that's the influence of European colonization on indigenous or adjacent societies. Did you hear what I just said? That's amazing that is connected to an animated show about a samurai. I thought this season was great. I like the way that it ended. I like the fact that I know already that we're gonna get at least one more season of this, and I'm excited to see where it goes. I know that it's getting a lot of buzz online and people are talking positively about it. Take their word for it, take my word for it. This thing is definitely worth you watching if you're an anime fan and you would like the adult content. That's all we have for this one, y'all. I hope I answered any questions that you may have had, or maybe gave you some compelling reasons to give this show a try, because I thought it was very good. Enjoy yourself, guard your heart, and go watch something good.